Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday's Look North. Our top story tonight. What next? Calls for an independent review into the £50 million of public money spent on a delayed music venue in Bradford.
You need to ensure that you have the market available when you are putting taxpayers' money into projects. And that is clearly not what had been identified throughout this project. We are asking those questions.
We'll look at what it means for Bradford, with the city just 100 days away from becoming the UK capital of culture. Also tonight, Claire Mercer's husband was killed on the M1. She's at the Labour conference calling on the party not to go back on a pledge to scrap smart motorways. Are you a teeth grinder? One woman says it led to eating problems and depression. Find out how she finally managed to stop it. And do it like the Dutch. A roundabout that prioritises pedestrians and cyclists is coming to South Yorkshire.
Well, it's been a miserable start to the working week. This was York earlier today, and there's a lot of unsettled weather to come in the forthcoming week. Join me for that week ahead forecast.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the first Look North of the week. And we're looking at the controversy surrounding Bradford Live. A West Yorkshire MP is calling for a full investigation of the finances surrounding the entertainment venue. Tens of millions of pounds of public money has been spent on the venue so far. Now, it was due to open this autumn, but last week, you may remember, it was confirmed that the chosen operator had pulled out. Keighley's MP Robbie Moore says he thinks independent auditors should now be brought in. It's a long run in Scarga, so let's go back, shall we, to the year 2000. The old Odeon cinema sits shut down because it was going to be demolished, but a high-profile campaign saved it. And in 2017, NEC Group were appointed as the operator of Bradford Live. Now, at that time, £22 million of council and lottery money was earmarked for the scheme, but costs have now soared to over £50 million. The venue was supposed to open this autumn, but it now looks like that deadline has been missed, with the council searching for a new company to run it. Here's our business correspondent, Spencer Stokes.
It's nearly 6 years since work started on the Bradford Live project. Back then, the stated cost was £22 million to create a 4,000-person performance venue. 2020 was the target opening date, but the pandemic intervened, followed by a surge in the cost of building materials. Restoration costs soared and the opening was delayed. But operator NEC Group spoke warmly about the scheme.
This venue is renowned for having legends here in the past, and it'll have legends here in the future.
Last week, after months of speculation, it was finally confirmed NEC Group had pulled out. They've repeatedly been asked for a statement, but have ignored all requests since March. Bradford Council, which owns Bradford Live, still haven't spoken, but confirmed in a statement they're now looking for a new operator to run the venue. With £50.5 million now spent, one local MP says there are numerous questions that need answering.
You need to ensure that you have the market available when you are putting taxpayers' money into projects. And that is clearly not what had been identified throughout this project. We are asking those questions. Journalists are asking those questions to Bradford Council and failing to get any response. That is why we need external auditors to get involved, so we can get full transparency by Bradford Council on their mismanagement of this project.
So what have you done here?
Well, all of this investment here is from basically Bradford Live expecting to be open. We've obviously created this massive beer garden.
Round the corner from Bradford Live is the Lord Clyde pub. The owner here has opened a new beer garden in the hope that there would be an uptick in nighttime visitors.
We've been planning this for many, many years, and to hear that the NEC has actually pulled out, it's quite heartbreaking at this point. The cynic in me will kind of say that it'll drag on for quite a while, but my hope and my heart that I've got for Bradford and the nightlife here, I do hope that it will open very, very soon and the right operator will be found.
Restoration work at Bradford Live has been completed. A dilapidated 1930s cinema that was facing demolition, now completely transformed. One music journalist says the focus has to be on finding an operator who understands the market.
If it's done right and they take their time, which it looks like they have done it, and get someone in who can run it properly, I think it could be amazing for the city. I really do, because there's not many other venues of this size in the city or the surrounding area.
This is Bradford. Next year sees Bradford host the UK's City of Culture celebrations, but Bradford 2025's organisers have also refused to comment on whether a delayed or cancelled opening of the venue affects them. NEC have gone, but many questions remain about one of the biggest regeneration projects the city has ever seen.
Well, Spencer joins us live now from Bradford. Spencer, let's be honest, the timing of this isn't great, is it? We're 100 days away from Bradford becoming the UK City of Culture, and it's a time when councils are really facing significant financial problems.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say that one reason why Bradford won that UK-wide competition to be the City of Culture in 2025 was because of the prospect of this building opening and being able to play a central part in those celebrations next year in 2025. And now we don't know if it'll open at all next year. Some think it will open perhaps middle of the year or later on in the year. £50 million of public money invested, most of that coming from Bradford Council at a time when the council is having to make huge cuts. £40 million of cuts this year, and there's likely to be another £35 million next year and for the next 5 years. Now, Bradford Council will say that's because of a huge reduction in funding from central government, but they're also selling off public buildings and assets across the district. We've asked them for a comment, for an interview about the project here. They haven't been able to provide anyone for interview. NEC haven't spoken to us since March, and Bradford 2025 also don't want to talk about this. So there is a sense of frustration here about when those doors will open, and also why those in charge don't want to talk about it.
Indeed, Spencer, thank you. And of course, we will keep trying to get the answers to those questions. You are watching Monday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. Preparing for a plane crash in the Peaks, mountain rescue teams and emergency services join forces for their biggest ever training exercise. But before that, let's take a look at some other stories coming into our newsroom. A man who was filmed damaging an air conditioning unit during large-scale violence outside a hotel in Rotherham has been jailed. Helicopter footage shows 29-year-old Ross Hart rocking the units after rioters had damaged fencing outside the hotel in August. He then went to rock a police van. He admitted violent disorder and told his barrister that him taking part was entirely pointless. He was jailed for 2 years and 10 months. Another man, 21-year-old Daniel Kendall, was jailed today for throwing a rock towards police. He also admitted violent disorder and was jailed for 2 years and 4 months. A man has appeared in court charged with murdering a man in Doncaster. 42-year-old Sheldon Jameson was found seriously injured last Thursday in an alleyway near Apley Road. He later died in hospital. 36-year-old Jason Hale appeared at Sheffield Crown Court this morning and was denied bail. He'll appeal in court again tomorrow. Now, Yorkshire's politicians have taken centre stage at the Labour Party conference today. The Chancellor and MP for Leeds West and Pudsey, Rachel Reeves, promised that Britain's best days lie ahead. And there was also a plea on smart motorways from a South Yorkshire campaigner we featured a lot here on Look North. Our political editor, James Vincent, joins us now from Liverpool with all the details. James, it's all yours.
Yeah, evening, Amy. Welcome to Liverpool and Monday's Labour conference. It's quieting down here, but just to my right there, recording today's newscast, Chris Mason and the team doing that. That'll be on BBC Sounds in just a few minutes. And behind me is the merch stand, which has been selling ponchos, which has been the must-have accessory, as most of the north. It's been belting down all day. Some of the delegates, some of our MPs, waiting 45 minutes in the rain to get into this venue. I don't know whether that was overwhelming demand or underwhelming performance of the X-ray scanning machines, but we've had a good lineup of Yorkshire MPs today, because of course quite a lot of them are on the front bench. They're cabinet ministers. We've had Hilary Benn, we've had Louise Haigh, we've had Ed Miliband, we've had John Healey, all leading up to Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor. She was telling people about how South Yorkshire's at the forefront of clean energy. She was referencing that new nuclear reactor plant that's going to be built in South Yorkshire, and she said that there was going to be no return to austerity. Here's a bit of what she said.
The British capacity for inventiveness, enterprise, and old-fashioned hard work has not gone away. So believe me when I say, my optimism for Britain burns brighter than ever. My ambition knows no limits, because I can see the prize on offer if we make the right choices now.
So that was the Chancellor speaking there. A positive speech, her positivity about the economy, trying to move away from some of that doom and gloom we've heard earlier from Labour about what they may have to do in the budget. No real clues about the budget, but we'll wait and see that next month. I talked about the rain. I was out in the rain with Claire Mercer earlier today. Now, Claire lost her husband Jason 5 years ago on the M1. She was outside the conference handing out leaflets trying to get people on her side. She's campaigning against smart motorways. Now, she was showing me what Louise Haigh was saying before the election. Louise Haigh is now the Transport Secretary. She was saying that Louise Haigh was quite keen to get rid of smart motorways, but now she's trying to get answers from the Transport Secretary about exactly what Labour plans to do.
Last year, Louise Haigh wrote a letter that she included me in the circulation of, saying that the government knew that smart motorways were unfit for purpose, not safe, and should be banned straight away. They should be stopped immediately. And she said that when she had the opportunity, she was going to make sure that happened. Well, less than a year later, she's now the one that can make that happen. But now she's saying another review will do.
No joy with Louise Haigh to try and get her to do an interview with us today. She was speaking today in conference. We did try everything we could. I tried to doorstep her as well, but she said she didn't have time to speak to us. Labour saying that they will review smart motorways, seeing if they're fit for purpose. They're going to have a comprehensive road strategy announced in the coming weeks. It doesn't mean they won't do it, but it means that they've hit a snag in doing it in the first place. But of course, when you make promises, you've got to live up to them. And one of the things I'm finding out is some of our MPs who used to speak to us a lot before they were front bench aren't as available as they were a few months ago.
James, thank you. Enjoy that new poncho. Now, do you grind your teeth? Apparently, 1 in 3 of us do. Molly Howarth from Leeds was in so much pain from grinding her teeth at night that she couldn't eat properly and turned to antidepressants. Now, though, she has managed to stop after using a self-help guide that was developed at the University of Leeds. Beth Parsons reports.
When I was about 13 or 14, someone noticed that I was grinding my teeth at night. As I got a bit older, kind of noticed that the grinding was causing seizing in my jaw, it was tightening it, the muscles were really tight and tense. General pain in my whole of my head and my shoulders, really.
Molly used to grind her teeth at night time and pay for it throughout the day.
On the worst days, I would kind of struggle to eat solid foods or really, really chewy foods. It would impact the sort of how wide I could open my jaw. The headaches would impact me throughout the day. I would have to take paracetamol quite regularly for that.
She's tried Botox and antidepressants, both trying to relax the muscles that are part of the problem. She's also had mouth guards, something that protect the teeth for a short amount of time but don't actually tackle the problem.
They make hard and soft mouth guards, and I've had both and have chewed through multiple.
Temporalis, yeah. It's pain around your temples.
Here at the University of Leeds, Dr. Vishal Agarwal understands the issue. He says that 1 in 3 of us grind our teeth, and 1 in 15 of us will experience painful symptoms because of it.
So this is your masseter muscle and your temporalis muscle. And the masseter, if you put your 2 fingers on your face there and clench your teeth, you'll feel a bulge. And if you put your 2 fingers on the temporalis and clench your teeth, you'll feel a bulge. And those are the muscles that cause the symptoms.
Vishal's developed a guide that tackles the psychological aspects of the habit as well as physical techniques to reduce pain.
You massage your masseter muscle from where it originates to where it inserts in your lower jaw. So starting with the 4 fingers on your masseter, slide them downwards where it meets the lower jaw. As you massage, you interrupt the pain pathway, you get pain relief, and you also stop clenching. So it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Vishal is passionate about helping people like Molly to get relief from the pain.
This actually broke the cycle, broke the habit, and although you do have to put some work in, it probably was less work and time than I had spent going to see dentists about the problem.
The guide, which is called Self-Management of Chronic Orofacial Pain, is now available for free from the University of Leeds website. Beth Parsons, BBC Look North, Leeds.
I wonder how many viewers are now at home doing this. It works though, you can feel that tension going, Sally. Have a go after your sport.
OK, I'll crack on with the sport because we start with football stadium news because there's been a significant development in Leeds United's plans to make Elland Road the 7th largest club stadium in the country. Now, the club has long had ambitions to expand the ground and increase its seating capacity from more than 37,000 currently to around 53,000. Ownership of the Elland Road Stadium was recently transferred back to the club and the owners have now committed £10 million to get to the approved planning stage. Meanwhile, Leeds had a comfortable win away at Cardiff this weekend with 2 goals, including this from summer signing Larji Ramazani, a stylish finish and celebration to mark his first goal for the Whites. Sheffield United are in 5th position in the Championship following 3 league wins on the spin. They beat Derby County 1-0. It was Gustavo Harmer's free kick that clinched the win. Afterwards, he lifted his shirt to reveal the number 8 in tribute to the women's team player Maddie Cusack, who died a year ago. Manager Chris Wilder says she's been in their thoughts.
I've got to say it's been a tough week as well. You know, the applause by both sets of supporters as well I thought was superb, and you know, they're 2 really good football clubs in my opinion, and Derby fans and ourselves joined in for the appreciation.
In League One, there was a last-minute winner to give Barnsley victory at Burton. It was deadline day signing Stephen Humphreys who glanced home a curling cross from Corey O'Keefe to make it 2-1. A bright finish to the game for the Tights in what was a very dull weather day. And in League Two, Chesterfield kept their unbeaten home record this season alive despite a frustrating draw with Cheltenham. Chesterfield scored first in the 27th minute, but then this happened. A failure to clear the ball left an open goal and Cheltenham were only too happy to equalise. The Leeds boxer Josh Warrington says it's time for reflection after he was beaten by Anthony Kakacha in London on Saturday. IBF super featherweight champion Kakacha claimed a unanimous decision win over Warrington at Wembley. It's a 3rd successive defeat for Warrington, who laid down his gloves and posed for pictures after the fight, hinting at retirement. But he now says he wants to rest and talk to his family and team before he decides what to do next. And in ice hockey, Sheffield Steelers made a good start to their defence of the Challenge Cup, winning both their games over the weekend. That's your sport, Amy.
Sally, thank you. Mountain rescue teams in the Peak District have spent most of the weekend in a remote quarry staged as a scene of a plane crash. It was their biggest ever training exercise organised to mark their 60th anniversary. Now, it brought together nearly a dozen emergency services who worked day and night alongside volunteer victims to test frontline responses. Kathy Killick can explain.
Your job's getting more important.
They hope it will never happen, but this highly realistic mock-up of a plane crash helps prepare for the worst. The Peak District is one of the areas aircraft are ordered to ground themselves in an emergency, so this training exercise for the emergency services involved is as true to life as possible.
We've got over 90 mountain rescue volunteers coming to the day to do the searching, the rescuing, the triaging. We're also working with fire, ambulance, heart, police. We've got army coming in. We've got the Civil Aviation Authority. So the actual scale of it is huge.
Can you feel your legs at the moment? Can you wiggle your toes? Yeah.
As well as treating casualties in the fragmented fuselage, rescuers must find injured survivors in the surrounding cliffs. A scenario sadly drawn from experience.
If you remember back to Lockerbie nearly 40 years ago, that's where mountain rescue was heavily involved with, where we were effectively searching over 100 square miles of countryside.
I'm actually doing the Craig lead for getting people off the slopes and evacuating to the holding station here so they can be delivered to hospital in the ambulance.
Although logistics are tested to the limit, it's also an exercise in collaboration. It requires organisation, cooperation and cool heads.
There's been no power struggles or ego trips. You know, we wear different colours, but we've all got the same goal.
The setup took a year to plan. Disasters, of course, can happen in seconds. But thorough training like this helps those on the rescue front line feel ready and able to help when most needed. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North.
People in Sheffield will soon be going Dutch and having to navigate a new road layout which gives cyclists and pedestrians priority over cars. Now, the final construction of the Dutch-style roundabout is due to start at West Bar near Crown Court. They're very rare in the UK and it's led to lots of heated debate on social media. Tom Ingall's there for us now. How's it going down, Tom?
You can't say we don't treat you on Look North, Amy. If you want a man standing in the gloaming and the rain, looking at a roundabout, tonight is your night. This is West Bar Roundabout. It's been here as long as I've lived in the city, but it's not just any roundabout. It is being transformed into Sheffield's first ever Dutch-style roundabout. What's one of those, I hear you say? Please allow Sheffield City Council to explain.
West Bar Roundabout will be Sheffield's first Dutch-style roundabout. Zebra crossings at each arm will give priority to pedestrians, making it safe and easy to cross. A one-way segregated cycle track moving clockwise around the roundabout will give cyclists priority. Vehicles will be free-flowing in a steady, controlled space, improving safety for all using the roundabout.
We've got more people in the city centre. What that means is we have to invest in the city centre. We have to make it so that people can have more choice about how they travel. That will mean tackling congestion. That will mean making sure that we've got space for people to cross the road, because we know that over the past few years people haven't been able to cross the road safely there, and also people haven't had that choice to be able to cycle in our city. We want to change that.
Now, West Bar and next door, Kelham Island, those areas are changing. They're much more residential than they used to be. We were here just last week filming the roadworks with businesses saying it's doing nothing for their trade. The council say trade will return and in spades when this work is completed, and it's much more connected for active transport. Tonight, certainly, pedestrians in the area were all up for the change.
I think it'll take some behavioural changes from drivers.
I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. I think we need more cycle pathways here in Sheffield. Yeah, I think that's brilliant.
You're a pedestrian at the moment. Would it benefit you, do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this junction's a bit of a nightmare at rush hour, so yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's good.
So you like the idea?
I do.
Do you think it's going to work?
Hopefully that's the way forward. Because there's just too much traffic, too many cars. You know, you're having to hurdle over all this. It'd be lovely to have right of way.
The work here is due to finish in about a month's time. Will this work? I have a feeling we're going to be back here in a few weeks' time as the traffic and the pedestrians sort each other out.
Yeah, we'll get you on your bike to test it out. Thanks, Tom. Now, every week, Paul joins us to talk about weather. There's the surprise. Summer seems to have been a long time ago, doesn't it, after today's rain? The official autumn day has started today, but didn't you say that on the 1st of September? How many autumn starts are there?
We've had loads of questions, lots of activity. People get really wound up about these different definitions of autumn. So statistically, autumn began on September the 1st and will last till November 30th, and it allows year-on-year comparisons because the number of days are the same. But actually, the proper definition of autumn is when the sun is directly over the equator. It's the autumn equinox, and we've done a very super-duper graphic just to show you what well, I haven't done it, but anyway. So we're basically, the sun's directly over the equator. As it moves on its journey into the southern hemisphere, you can see the Earth tilts away from the sun. And so that's the official version of the autumn equinox, and it often coincides with, very unsettled weather.
It has been gorgeous though, hasn't it, up until today? What's the rest of autumn look like?
Well, we did have some nice days, but, it's really interesting. You look back through the climate records, and often the autumn equinox coincides with really disturbed weather, and I suspect that's going to be the case now. It looks really unsettled, quite a lot of rain to come on Thursday. It turns colder, and actually the long-range forecast into October is for a continuation of really unsettled weather, a much higher probability than normal of wet weather, and the same for warm weather, so it could be a warm and wet one. There we are. And if you've got any questions, here's the plug, because we genuinely did have a lot. It does wind people up, the different variations on the autumn. You can take that QR code on your phone and send them in, and I'll try and answer your question next Monday. In the meantime, I've got a couple of pictures that shows the first day of autumn, which is that one. It has been awful. That was firelight this morning with extensive low cloud and drizzle. And the next picture is a little bit brighter. I'm not so sure that was taken today because it's been really wet up there in Wensleydale, but that was the famous Aysgarth Falls sent in by Buffy's Place. If you've got any pictures you want to send to me on X, Instagram or the Weather Watcher website, please do so. So tomorrow's forecast is a bit of an improvement. It does turn brighter. There's a risk of a few showers. Wednesday, a little bit of a nondescript day, a lot of cloud, risk of a few showers. Now, if all goes to plan, this system really will bring some unpleasant weather on Thursday. Quite cold, wet and windy. Once that moves out of the way, we'll get a strong run of north to northwesterly. So Friday and the weekend do look brighter but colder with some sunshine. You may well be turning the central heating on. Now, there's the radar picture. We didn't quite get the heavy downpours we suspected earlier today, but nevertheless, it has been quite grotty out there. We've still got patchy outbreaks of rain and drizzle to come. There's the weather system that's going to sink away southeastwards. Eventually, most of us should be dry and we'll see lowest temperatures coming in at around about 10 or 11 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow's high water times then in Scarborough 9:15, Bridlington at 9:35. A slow start in the morning, a lot of cloud. There will be just a little patchy rain in places, but you can see the cloud breaks up from the west into the afternoon. We're looking at sunshine and 1 or 2 showers with temperatures reaching around 15 degrees Celsius into tomorrow evening. 1 or 2 showers, but they'll fizzle out. A little bit of sunshine, and into tomorrow night, it does look mostly fine. So the further outlook, Wednesday, there'll be some bright or sunny intervals, but also a scattering of showers. There's an indication of potentially quite a poor day on Thursday. Look at those temperatures, 11 degrees Celsius. But Friday and the weekend, mostly dry with some sunshine. It will, though, be chilly in a strong northwest wind. That is the forecast.
When do we start planting bulbs?
Ooh, spring?
No, you do it in the autumn.
Do you?
Oh my gosh, wrong person to ask. That is it from us. I'll be back with your late news. Bye-bye for now. Where's Alan Titchmarsh?
What bulbs do you plant in autumn?